Spring in Grand Rapids, Michigan, 1995, brought the city alive with vibrant greens, blossoming trees, and the gentle hum of community activity. Streets lined with small cafes, local shops, and brick-lined sidewalks created an atmosphere of warmth and familiarity. Among its residents was Olivia Harper, 24, a dedicated school counselor at Westwood High School. Known for her compassion, insight, and gentle guidance, Olivia had become a trusted figure for students navigating the complexities of adolescence. She was admired not only for her professionalism, but for her ability to connect with every individual, to listen, encourage, and inspire. Olivia lived in a cozy home near the city's east side, decorated with artwork she had collected from students and local artists. The space reflected her life, organized, thoughtful, and welcoming. Family photographs and awards from her work adorned the walls, and a small garden outside bloomed with seasonal flowers, tended meticulously by Olivia herself. March 12, 1995 began like any other day. Olivia spent the morning at school, guiding students through academic planning and personal counseling sessions. Around noon, she stepped out for a brief walk during lunch, as she often did, intending to clear her mind and enjoy the early spring sunshine. She carried a small satchel containing personal items, notes for her afternoon sessions, and a water bottle. Olivia never returned from that walk. Hours passed, and when she failed to appear for afternoon meetings, school staff contacted her family and the local police. Her father, Marcus Harper, and mother, Elaine Harper, arrived promptly, their worry deepening as details emerged. Olivia's satchel and personal belongings remained at home. Her wallet, keys, and mobile phone were untouched, suggesting she had not planned to be away for long. Officers from the Grand Rapids Police Department arrived quickly. Detective Laura Kim, assigned to the case, noted the absence of any sign of struggle at Olivia's home. The area near the park where she had been last seen became the focus of an immediate search. Volunteers, neighbors, and local residents joined in, calling her name and scanning streets, sidewalks, and alleys. Flyers featuring Olivia's warm smile and kind eyes were distributed throughout the city and neighboring towns. Witness interviews provided few leads. Olivia had lived a steady, organized life. She had no known conflicts and maintained close, trusted friendships. The lack of a clear reason for her disappearance puzzled both investigators and community members. Days turned into weeks. Patrols revisited the park and surrounding streets multiple times, searching for evidence or a trace of her movements. While no significant physical evidence emerged, the community rallied in support. Local schools, libraries, and community centers held vigils, leaving notes, flowers, and tokens in Olivia's honor. By late 1995, the case had become one of Grand Rapids' most closely watched cold cases. Media coverage highlighted Olivia's dedication to students and her positive influence on the community. Candlelight vigils continued along the park paths, where students and neighbors reflected on her life and contributions. Investigators, including Detective Kim, methodically cataloged every detail and statements, security footage from nearby stores, and archival photographs. Though no new leads emerged immediately, careful preservation of evidence ensured that the case could be revisited with future technological advancements. In 1997, renewed attention to missing persons cases led to a comprehensive review. All preserved evidence, including Olivia's personal items and notes, was re-examined. Investigators hoped that advances in forensic science would yield results. At the same time, the community established the Olivia Harper Youth Support Fund, promoting counseling programs, academic mentorship, and wellness initiatives for students in Grand Rapids. By 2000, forensic technology had improved considerably. DNA profiling was becoming a routine tool in investigations. Olivia's personal belongings, including the satchel she had carried, were submitted for testing. Though initial results provided no direct match, the analysis created a DNA profile that could be stored for future reference. Detective Kim retired in 2005, passing the case to a new team led by Detective Nathaniel Cross, known for his meticulous approach and commitment to preserving the integrity of cold cases. Cross reviewed every file, photograph, and statement, noting subtle details that might provide new insights. He emphasized the importance of focusing not only on the disappearance, but on preserving Olivia's life story, her impact on the community, and the memories of those who had known her. By 2010, the case had become part of a broader initiative in Michigan to revisit cold cases using modern technology and interagency cooperation. DNA profiles, witness statements, and environmental samples were cross-referenced with national databases. Analysts hoped that even partial matches could provide the key to resolution. Community engagement remained strong. Schools held workshops in Olivia's honor, teaching students about mental health, empathy, and conflict resolution, lessons reflecting her work as a counselor. Annual memorial events encouraged youth participation, keeping Olivia's spirit alive through service, learning, and community connection. By 2015, detective teams identified a potential lead, a man named Victor Langston, with transient residences across Michigan and neighboring states, appeared in archival data as having occasional presence near the locations Olivia frequented in 1995. While Langston had been considered unremarkable at the time, modern analysis revealed subtle connections between his known movements and gaps in Olivia's timeline. In early 2019, advances in DNA analysis, combined with familial matching, provided investigators with a crucial lead. Partial DNA evidence collected from Olivia's preserved personal items indicated a potential connection to Langston. Investigators, aware of the sensitivity required, approached the evidence with careful validation and verification. Detective Cross and his team, now operating with a multi-agency task force, compiled a comprehensive case file. They meticulously verified each detail, movements, witness accounts, and forensic evidence, to ensure a clear understanding of events before proceeding with any legal action. By late 2019, Victor Langston had been located living quietly in a small Michigan town. Surveillance, interviews, and cross-referenced records provided a complete picture of his movements over the years. Officers coordinated a careful approach to ensure a lawful and safe apprehension. In early 2020, Langston was brought in for questioning. Detectives approached the interview with both diligence and respect, emphasizing the importance of honesty and cooperation. What emerged would eventually lead to a confession, providing clarity and closure for a case that had lingered for over 25 years. By mid-2020, the investigation into Olivia Harper's disappearance had regained national attention. The case, dormant for decades, was now fueled by modern forensic techniques, detailed archival research, and meticulous investigative work. Detective Nathaniel Cross understood the delicate balance between pursuing legal resolution and honoring Olivia's memory. Langston's history of transient living had complicated earlier efforts. From 1995 onward, he had moved between small towns across Michigan, occasionally entering neighboring states. Each relocation created gaps in public records, employment documents, and witness accounts. Yet through careful analysis of tax filings, vehicle registrations, and community engagement, investigators reconstructed a rough timeline of his movements. Cross's team also collaborated with the Michigan State Police Digital Forensics Unit, reviewing old surveillance footage from 1995 and subsequent years. While video quality was limited, modern enhancement tools revealed subtle patterns. Vehicles matching Langston's known cars appearing near Olivia's last known location, and parks she frequented. These observations, combined with preserved evidence, strengthened the connection and provided investigators with a more detailed understanding of the period surrounding her disappearance. Community members, though long removed from the events of 1995, remained involved. Volunteers, educators, and former colleagues assisted by recounting memories, sharing photographs, and reviewing archival documents. The continued engagement reinforced the human story behind the investigation Olivia's dedication to students, her warmth, and the positive impact she had on her community. By late 2020, forensic laboratories had revisited all available evidence. DNA samples collected from Olivia's satchel, clothing, and personal items were analyzed with advanced techniques that were unavailable in the 1990s. These tests provided a familial match linking Victor Langston to the preserved evidence, creating a foundation for legal and investigative steps toward resolution. Detective Cross coordinated with federal agencies to plan Langston's apprehension. Intelligence indicated that Langston maintained a low profile, avoiding digital footprints, and had developed routines that minimized contact with authorities. Still, predictive analysis suggested areas he was likely to frequent based on historical patterns. Officers conducted surveillance discreetly, ensuring safety and preserving the integrity of evidence for eventual legal proceedings. The first meeting with Langston, conducted in early 2021, was carefully structured. Detectives approached with respect and transparency, providing him the opportunity to respond to inquiries. Initial questioning revealed minimal information, but subtle inconsistencies in his account prompted investigators to continue deeper review. Detective Cross and his team revisited witness statements, noting that certain details, previously considered insignificant but were now pivotal. For example, neighbors recalled brief interactions where Langston had asked about local events and community spaces near where Olivia had worked. These seemingly ordinary inquiries, when mapped against his known movements, highlighted patterns that ultimately guided investigators to critical evidence. Community outreach played a parallel role in the investigation. Schools and local organizations continued programming in Olivia's honor, promoting counseling, academic support, and social engagement. Volunteers maintained memorial events, ensuring that the city's collective memory preserved Olivia's legacy, while contributing to the broader understanding of youth and mental health initiatives. By mid-2021, law enforcement agencies had compiled a comprehensive file combining DNA evidence, historical witness accounts, surveillance review, and Langston's documented movements. This file formed the backbone of the legal strategy for obtaining a confession, presenting a coherent narrative of the events surrounding Olivia's disappearance. Detective Cross emphasized careful preparation. Every piece of evidence was corroborated, every witness re-interviewed, and every lead validated. The goal was to approach Langston with a clear, factual account that would allow him to respond honestly. Investigators were aware that after more than 25 years, any resolution would hinge on precise, respectful engagement, rather than confrontation or assumption. In late 2021, Langston was invited for a second, extended interview. Detectives presented the compiled evidence in a structured and calm manner. They highlighted the continuity of documentation, the forensic results linking him to preserved items, and the timeline reconstructed from community and historical records. The weight of the investigation, presented respectfully, began to elicit responses. Langston's initial resistance gradually shifted. He acknowledged certain movements and interactions that had previously been unclear. Through careful questioning and consistent presentation of evidence, he eventually provided a full confession, outlining his involvement and the circumstances surrounding Olivia's disappearance. While the confession clarified events, the focus remained on understanding, closure, and honoring Olivia's life rather than sensationalizing the crime. Detective Cross coordinated with prosecutors to ensure that the confession was documented accurately and incorporated into legal proceedings. The Caldwell family, informed promptly, prepared for the resolution while focusing on preserving Olivia's legacy. Community reactions were a mixture of solemn reflection and relief. Schools held assemblies celebrating Olivia's contributions, and local media emphasized the importance of the long-term investigation, the persistence of law enforcement, and the continued impact of her life. Residents organized reading programs, youth mentorship, and health initiatives inspired by her work as a counselor. The confession also allowed investigators to recover preserved materials that had been difficult to locate over the years. Clothing, personal items, and correspondence were retrieved and cataloged for forensic validation, contributing further to the completeness of the case record. By early 2022, the confession had been fully integrated into the legal proceedings. Prosecutors highlighted the ethical, methodical approach of law enforcement, demonstrating how persistence, technological advancements, and community collaboration led to resolution. The case became a model for addressing cold cases respectfully and effectively, showcasing how decades of careful investigation could culminate in both legal closure and public acknowledgement of the victim's life. The Caldwell family, while deeply affected by the years of uncertainty, focused on remembrance and legacy. They expanded the Olivia Harper Youth Support Fund, providing scholarships, counseling programs, and community workshops. Students, educators, and volunteers shared stories of Olivia's guidance, reinforcing her influence on the city's educational and social landscape. By mid-2022, the trial preparation was complete. The confession provided clarity and certainty, allowing the legal process to proceed efficiently. Investigators, prosecutors, and the Caldwell family emphasized the importance of maintaining dignity and respect throughout the proceedings. Community celebrations of Olivia's life ran concurrently with the trial. Local parks, libraries, and schools hosted events highlighting counseling programs, youth mentorship, and academic enrichment. Children who had participated in earlier initiatives shared reflections on the positive influence Olivia had on their lives, emphasizing her dedication, empathy, and leadership. Detective Cross documented the case extensively, providing materials for training, education, and historical preservation. The investigation became a resource for law enforcement professionals, educators, and community organizers, illustrating how methodical attention to detail, persistence, and community engagement could resolve even decades-old mysteries. By late 2022, the confession had shifted the city's focus from uncertainty to closure. Grand Rapids residents reflected on the value of persistence, ethical investigation, and the lasting impact of a life dedicated to service. Olivia Harper's story had transformed from a disappearance into a narrative of inspiration, perseverance, and community strength. By early 2023, preparations for the trial of Victor Langston were well underway. The case, spanning more than 25 years, had captured the attention of Grand Rapids residents, law enforcement professionals, and media outlets across Michigan. Yet throughout the proceedings, the focus remained on Olivia Harper, her life, her dedication, and the enduring positive impact she had on her community. Detective Nathaniel Cross led the investigative team through trial preparations with precision and care. Every piece of evidence, and from forensic analysis to archival photographs, preserved personal items, and witness statements, was meticulously organized. The goal was to present a clear, factual account while honoring Olivia's memory and the efforts of those who had preserved the investigation over decades. Olivia's family, including her parents Marcus and Elaine Harper, and younger sister Sophie Harper, attended each session. They remained a source of quiet strength, demonstrating resilience and grace. Friends, colleagues from Westwood High School, and community members offered testimony, reflecting on Olivia's dedication, her warmth, and the tangible difference she had made in the lives of students and neighbors alike. The trial emphasized factual evidence and careful reconstruction of events. Prosecutors presented a meticulously documented chain of forensic analysis, the confession provided by Langston, and the cross-referenced witness accounts that corroborated the reconstructed timeline. Detective Cross provided expert testimony, explaining the methodical steps that led investigators to Langston and the eventual confession. Yet even in the courtroom, The narrative consistently celebrated Olivia's life. Colleagues described her tireless commitment as a counselor, recounting moments when she had guided students through challenges, encouraged academic growth, and inspired self-confidence. Volunteers spoke of her patience, her ability to listen, and the genuine care she brought to every interaction. Each story highlighted her lasting influence, providing a portrait of a life built on service and kindness. Outside the courthouse, the Grand Rapids community continued to honor Olivia Harper. Schools held workshops emphasizing counseling, empathy, and youth support. Local organizations organized reading programs, wellness initiatives, and mentorship opportunities in her name. Instead of focusing on the crime itself, these efforts emphasized celebration, learning, and the positive impact of her life. In March 2023, a public memorial ceremony was held at Maplewood Park, where Olivia had often walked and held student sessions outdoors. Residents gathered to leave flowers, notes, and small tokens along the park paths. Students shared stories of lessons she had taught, and community members recalled the ways she had touched lives, creating an atmosphere of collective remembrance and inspiration. Detective Cross attended quietly, reflecting on the years of investigation. The case had spanned decades, combining initial fieldwork, technological advancements, meticulous evidence preservation, and careful interviews. The resolution demonstrated not only the value of persistence in law enforcement but also the importance of community support and ethical, investigative practices. The trial concluded in mid-2023, with the confession providing clarity and direction for legal proceedings. Prosecutors emphasized the careful, methodical nature of the investigation, showing how decades of patience, forensic advancements, and interagency collaboration led to justice. The Caldwell family, now fully focused on remembrance, expressed gratitude for the professionalism and dedication of everyone involved. In parallel, the community established permanent initiatives to honor Olivia Harper. Westwood High School introduced the Olivia Harper Counseling Scholarship, supporting students pursuing careers in guidance, social work, and community development. The city library created the Olivia Harper Reading Hall, a dedicated space for youth programs, literacy activities, and creative learning workshops. Each initiative reflected the values Olivia had championed: empathy, dedication, and service to others. Annual events celebrated her life and contributions. Students participated in mentorship programs, first aid workshops, and wellness activities inspired by her work. Artists created murals depicting her teaching and community engagement. Public readings, storytelling sessions, and music performances reinforced Olivia's influence and kept her story alive in the hearts of the community. Detective Cross also shared the case as a training resource for law enforcement professionals nationwide. The investigation highlighted the integration of archival evidence, forensic science, community collaboration, and ethical investigative methods. The Harper case became a model for how persistence and respect for victims' legacies could resolve long-standing mysteries while strengthening public trust in law enforcement. The Harper family continued their efforts to honor Olivia through scholarship programs, mentorship, and youth initiatives. Volunteers organized storytelling events, school workshops, and community discussions about empathy, mental health, and personal growth. Olivia's legacy became a guiding light for new generations, demonstrating how one individual's dedication could ripple through an entire community. By late 2023, Grand Rapids had fully embraced Olivia Harper's story as an emblem of inspiration and resilience. The city celebrated her life through community festivals, educational programming, and public art initiatives. Children, educators, and residents reflected on her example, learning how service, compassion, and dedication could leave a lasting positive mark. Visitors to Maplewood Park, Westwood High School, and the library encountered Olivia's story, learning from her values and actions. Students participating in youth programs shared reflections on how her guidance had shaped their understanding of empathy, responsibility, and the importance of helping others. The community's collective memory preserved her spirit, ensuring that her contributions would endure for decades to come. Detective Cross reflected on the case as a career highlight, emphasizing the importance of patience, ethical investigation, and respectful engagement with families and communities. This case shows that even after decades, truth, justice, and remembrance can prevail, he said. It's a testament to the dedication of investigators, the support of the community, and the lasting impact of one extraordinary individual. The Harper family, now at peace with the resolution, continued their outreach efforts. Scholarship programs, wellness workshops, and mentorship initiatives kept Olivia's spirit alive. The city of Grand Rapids, enriched by her story, celebrated not only the closure of a cold case but also the enduring power of kindness, perseverance, and community engagement. As spring returned to Grand Rapids in 2024, the park paths once walked by Olivia were filled with children reading, families enjoying nature, and volunteers teaching life skills. The soft rustle of leaves and the laughter of young participants echoed the values she had lived by. Olivia Harper's life, once interrupted, now resonated fully throughout the city, a lasting legacy of compassion, dedication, and positive influence. Her story reminded the community that lives defined by empathy and service could transcend absence, transforming uncertainty into inspiration. Olivia Harper's influence continued to guide children, educators, and residents alike, proving that one person's dedication could shape the hearts and actions of an entire city. Through legal closure, community remembrance, and ongoing educational initiatives, Olivia Harper's life became a source of hope, growth, and positive change, a legacy that would endure for generations. Her story exemplified the power of persistence, ethical action, and unwavering commitment to others, ensuring that her contributions would never be forgotten.